Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31 Minute podcast. Jordan,
Hey, good morning.
Jackson.
Good morning.
So you two boys are a little tired today.
No, I'm not tired. I'm
No,
dangerous
you
as
are.
hell.
So you're tired. You need to come in with your little bottle, bot.
I make sleep tired.
Jackson texted me at about 6 and 5:45 or something. He said, "I just got to sleep for another hour."
Yeah, I was up and down all night last night.
Did you wet your nappy?
Yeah, had to change the sheets.
I wet the bed till I was about 14.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That is a long time.
Long time. I used to sleep at friends' houses. I used to dread it because a friend would go, "Do you want to stay over?" And I'm like, and I'd stay there. Do you know how many times I'd wet the bed at my friends' houses? And I didn't know the house that well, and I'd have to get up. One time I wet the bed at this. We had like people lived down the street, and they were like much wealthier than us. Like they were the wealthy people in the street, and so I stayed there. And they had a sauna and pool, and the dad was an entertainer, like a singer. And I wet the bed. The biggest wet the bed too, like it was full, couldn't lay in it. And I took the sheets off and sat down in the lounge room with them in my hands. And the dad comes home at like 2 a.m, like into the garage and walks in. And here I am sitting here like 10 years old with the sheets in my hands. It's like, it was the worst thing. So embarrassed.
Why
Yeah.
did you wait your bed till 14? Seems
I don't
like
know.
that's
How
like,
would I know?
I don't know. It's like 2 years
Like
ago for
childhood trauma. I don't really know. So, drink too much. It got so bad, I went to the doctor and he goes, "You just got to say, I won't wet the bed 100 times before you go to bed." So I used to sit there going, "I won't wet the bed. I won't wet the bed. I won't wet the bed. I won't," every
me.
night.
Then you'll wake up in the night and you're just doing a full-on bubbler.
Yeah, it was the worst. I was so bad. Anyway, let's get into it. We've got a lot of questions. We're going to make this podcast all about the questions for the people.
Yep.
So let's answer all of them if we can. Next week, special announcement, we got Cookie.
Yep.
Cookie next Tuesday. She doesn't get up till
About 8.
8, so the podcast won't be up till about 10:30. Yeah. Jackson looks like full of beans today.
I'm full of beans. I'm
You
ready
have
to go.
heroin before you come? He's like, "You gonna fall asleep?"
I literally like woke up and I just heard Archie going, "Bro, bro, bro," and I was like, "Shut up, Archie." And Jordan texted me, he's like, "I'm here." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know we're doing a podcast." And then, yeah, so this is me straight from bed.
Do you
ready to go.
like living in the house just in front of us?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I probably would have been like, "Oh, I'm feeling sick, Dad." If I lived like somewhere else, I would have took the sick.
Exactly. He would too. I ring Jackson at like 9 at night. "I've got an idea. Come film it."
Yeah, it's I think that's why Dad won't let me move out yet, because just to stay here, just
Needs
because like
the connection.
yeah, we're editing in here till like 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
We're just watching the whole. It's like
Gotta work, Jack.
not that one. Yeah, no,
Gotta
for
work.
sure. I'm not
But on
complaining.
Sunday, we're doing a different podcast as well. We're doing a Meet the Steinway Kids. I'm getting all the kids on.
Oh, that
That could go sideways or it could be really good.
Yeah, I'll
That
see
would
how
be
that,
classic.
let's see how that
Yeah.
one will go.
Depends how many arguments we have with Paris along the way before Sunday, whether she comes or not.
Yeah,
But Bay, Flora, Paris,
Really?
Jackson, Phoenix, all of them are going to be on.
Yeah, you should do it live.
I said that. And Tara said, "Don't, whatever you do, don't do it live because it could be like the worst." Anyway, let's
Yeah.
get into it.
Okay. The first question is increasing lead generation velocity or more negotiation? Just start with increasing lead.
They want us to do a topic on lead generation. Let's move on to the next question. We can do that another time.
Yeah. How many things should you try until you find your passion?
As many as you want. So I think, but you got to understand, real estate wasn't my passion, but I got into it and was like, yeah, I could make something of this. I don't think, unless you're like a pro athlete, like I don't think you really have like this burning passion for work, like you. But I liked real estate because you sort of were going around. You generate your own results, and I think that suited my mind. So I think don't get too caught up in, "Oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing." I think you'll feel that sometimes those things lead you to somewhere though. Like sometimes the things that you know, when I was working in a cake shop when I was 16 years old or 15 years old, putting putting lids on the top of the pies, there was so many racks every morning. I used to get there at like 4 a.m. I used to wish, you wouldn't remember this person, but I used to wish I was the lady off Sam, off Bewitched. And Bewitched was a show when I was a kid, and she used to go with her nose and it'd go, and she'd have magic powers. I used to hate it that much. I used to be there and wish I was Sam, go, and put all the lids on the pies. It was the world's most boring job. You put it in the egg, go like this, put it on top. But it led me somewhere else. Led me to that, led me to that, led me to that.
Do you think it's like a narrowing thing? Like schooling, you know, you got like maths, English, whatever. I got expelled in year 12, but I always liked business at school and nothing else. But I went to a business degree and then I majored in marketing. It channeled it narrower from like a big range of different things. I just kept sort of running in one way. I knew business was what interested me, but then there was different sectors of it. Sector.
Yeah.
You know?
You've got to stay enthused. Like Esther Hicks says, you can't know what you want unless you know what you don't want. So true. But you've got to stay enthused. Like when things happen, and let's say you're going to work every day and you're going, oh, I just got to get through today, like Jackson is today, that I can feel it. It's like, but if you're going to work in that energy zone of, I can't stand this. Like I literally can't stand it. I can't stand these people. I can't stand getting up in whatever. You've got to be a bit excited about what is it teaching you. That's the secret to all of it. Because if you can hold that energy set of excitement in everything that you do, disappointment or not, whatever's happening, you can feel the like pain of it, but then you've got to move yourself to what is it actually doing? Well, it's showing me that this isn't what I want to do. And then you've got to ask yourself, what is it that I want to do?
And how many times have you employed people from shops, from cafes, just through their personality? Some people that have been still in the company.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is right. Like just be happy about where you are, and it leads to other things.
It does, but you've got to be also aware of like, you got to be like pumped, because you might hear one thing and it could be the next thing where you go, oh wow, like someone might, I don't know, drive past in a car and you go, oh, I wonder what that guy does. And somewhere you meet him and then you're like, oh, I do this. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. What's that? And you just don't know. So if you're in that attractive state all the time, you'll find what your passion is quicker than, you don't try and work it out. It'll just come to you along the way. But just try the next thing. And if the next thing sounds interesting, go there. And the next thing sounds interesting, go there. And you'll eventually attract it. But it's when you sit in that vibration of, oh, poor me, no good.
This one just says goal setting ?
Yeah,
like
goal setting.
Are they saying, should you goal set? What's the story with that?
Yep. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, you're probably better. I do set goals, but
You got them on your mirror still?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just picked 5, like not too many, and they're all in the different sort of pillars. I've got a health goal, I've got a wealth goal, I've got a career goal. Sorry, I've got a health goal, a wealth goal, and I've got 3 career goals because they sort of set up everything else.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, I think keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I try and redo them every year or so. Do you think the same? Because you've been through it all. Like you've done vision boards, you've done like a story about like your life. I don't know. I've just never gelled with that.
Yeah, I had one of those brains I had to control though.
Yeah.
Like it's either really good or really bad. It wasn't in the middle. So I like one goal. I just like having one goal. Like we have a business goal, you, me, and Trev, and that's sort of my focus at the moment. That because I think everything runs off of that for me.
And do you want to say our business goal?
Well, it doesn't write 8 million this year.
Yeah, but our monthly goal is 20 listings and 20 sales.
Yeah, that's
which is
right.
so easy.
That's
like
it.
it's so simple.
Yeah.
You see people with these huge, big business plans for their company, but really, that's the crux of it for a real estate agent is listings and sales.
Yeah.
Everything else just flows off it, right?
Yeah. And you might have a shop and you might say, I want to sell 50 bikes this month and just make that your target. Like I like that because you've got to bring your best self into it. You've got to say, well, what do I need to do to sell one? Then you've got to do those tasks. So all the little steps lead up to that. But so what's your daily steps for that goal at the end of the month or at the end of the year? What is that? And then you just got to stick to the steps. So I keep it real simple. If you have too many, it's like you can't focus on anything.
Yeah, that's good advice. This one says, knowing what you know today, what would you do to rebuild your business if you started again at 0?
Nothing. The same. Exactly the same. Like
Which was? Because that
prospect like nothing else.
Yeah.
And if you talk, we were just talking about steps.
The second one's the exact same.
Yeah.
Building a business from scratch.
So the most powerful thing you can have, whether it's in business, sales, I think life in a way, is your personal brand. So your personal brand is built by your daily tasks and the consistency of those. So I think if there was one thing that I would do again, sure, I've learnt some lessons, but the amount of consistency that I brought was the reason I have a personal brand. I didn't go out to really like carve out a personal brand exactly. I was like, if I just do this every day and run faster every day, probably the only thing I would have done different is be more healthy along the way. So I would have had like you do, like a health goal as well as a work goal. I didn't have any health goals. I just did work, but I wouldn't have done anything different. There's a system out there. If that's from a real estate agent, the Matt Steinway system is the best thing to use because it shows you how to do it. But if you're in business or anything like that, you've got to have a brand that attracts people.
And the next one says prospecting conversations, but it's pretty much that.
Do you want to sell your house?
Yeah, have a prospecting plan.
Yeah, prospecting plan. How many connects you want to make?
Yeah.
So that's a video. I mean, that's a
whole topic.
a whole podcast in itself. So maybe we'll do a podcast on prospecting.
Yeah,
because that's for business, sales, and anything else.
Someone said, "Who the f is Jamie?"
Jamie, Jamie is my business partner.
Have you spoken about Jamie recently? Is that why that's popped
Yeah.
up? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I speak to him about him quite a bit.
Okay.
So he runs the business, and we've been together for about 28 years, I think. And he is the reason I reckon the business is phenomenal. He's like, if you look at this chart of it, we're probably one of the only real estate companies north of Sydney with a proper management corporate structure. So he's the CEO, and then you got the CFO, and then you got COO, and then you got the management team underneath that.
Yeah.
So, but he runs the whole thing. And you and I, we have our team, and I sell houses. So I always have done, and he runs and grows the business. Like, yeah, he's just opening a few more offices up north now. So that's he's good.
I love how you say he's opening a few offices.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't it be we are opening a few offices?
Oh, we are, but it's real. It's he's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, so he
I love. I got to bring everybody up to speed with this, which is hilarious. You said, so how's Hunter Valley going? Like, when's it open? And he
so
said,
you explain it.
do you want to explain it?
No,
When you said to Jamie, oh, how's Hunter Valley?
That was a couple of days ago.
Yeah, how's the Hunter Valley office going? Like, when's it going to open? Like, how's the expansion going? And he said, what? It is open.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I mean. So even when we sold part of our business to McGrath Corporate, I don't know, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, he just did it. He just did everything. Like, so he's opening the offices now. And like, yeah, I asked him, when's the Hunter Valley open? And he's like, it is. And I'm like, okay.
Well,
but that's why we work well.
Yeah, it's no crossing paths.
Yeah. Someone said to me the other day that partnerships don't really work that well. Well, ours has. For that reason.
It's because you haven't blended roles at all.
No.
And you've been very respectful of each other's strengths within the business.
Yeah. And we don't really hang out personally either. Like, when we were younger, we sort of partied every now and then, but we don't really hang out personally. We speak every day about different things. But when I talk to him, I say, so what are you going to do with, like, when are you going to do, like, open this? Or when are you going to, what's your decision on that? I just leave all the decision making to him with the business, because that's his strength.
Do you think that's important in a partnership?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When we were younger, I was like, oh, I can do this and he can do this. And it was like, there's a great Indian saying, I said it before, you can't serve two masters. And it's very confusing in a company when you've got two people that are seen to be, well, the leaders or the bosses or whatever, and then who to go to. So in the end, it became so confusing. This is like 20 years ago. It became confusing because I'd want to do this and he'd want to do that. And at some point I was like, well, my strength is that, his strength is that, I've got to trust him. He trusts me. Like, he doesn't get involved in our business, like in our team at all. But I do ring him for advice from time to time, and often. And even with negotiations, still today, I'll ring him and say, mate, I've got this situation. What do you think about this? Because he's got a very objective view of things, you know. So I like hearing what he's got to say, because sometimes he goes, oh, have you thought about this way? And he's a good sounding board. Yeah. So we'll get him on a podcast at some point. That'll be interesting.
That'll be the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Another question, energy management. Are you 10 out of 10 all waking hours, or do you have days and hours where you're up and down?
You know, this question is so good. Good timing for this question. My energy is 20 out of 10. now. I was only thinking, I think I spoke to someone yesterday about it. I said, my energy is so through the roof now because of what I've done with Tommy and even gone deeper into gut health. And like, I literally don't eat anything else apart from Tommy's meal plan, like the gut health plan. I don't eat anything different. Actually, we had a chicken schnitzel I ate 3/4 of it. I was at lunch with Jackson the other day. We were in Sydney. I didn't have any meals with me. I thought, I'll have a chicken schnitzel with Jackson. Sat there, had chicken schnitzel and cabbage. But other than that,
Should have seen the bowl of cabbage the lady brought out for Dad.
Yeah.
She bought me, those little ramekins, like the little serving things. She gave me that. It's like for tomato sauce. She goes, oh, there's your cabbage. And then brought out like a salad bowl of cabbage covered in pepper or whatever. And then like, there you go. And Dad's just like, sit there, eat the whole thing.
I was like, well, sauerkraut's good. That's good for you. But I don't eat anything outside of whole foods and gut health structure now. And like today, boom, 4:30, just awake as all hell, ready to go. Busting. You two little 20-year-olds, like I feel my energy's way off the charts compared to you guys.
So
you guys look like you got a hangover.
What would change someone's energy then? Like,
are you even listening?
No. What would change your energy? So you're saying your energy is 20 out of 10.
Yeah.
But there's always things that pop in through the day that's like shaking you. Things that are not like.
But you absorb it better.
You just feel you absorb better. But
well,
do you
make a decision.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're not, look, I've come to a place.
This person said my energy's rock bottom. So I'm like asking because I'm curious.
There's two things here. Their focus on probably what's not working in their life. That will affect your energy. You got a choice in any moment. You can focus on what you want or you can focus on what's happening. Either or. If what's happening is good, keep focusing on it. If what's happening is not, move. It's hard because it has like momentum around it because that situation happened and it's got momentum. But if you focus on what you want, think about how good you feel. That's what the purpose of a vision or a goal is. It's to keep your focus on something that excites you. So when you're excited, your frequency is much higher. That's the top of the scale. So if you can learn to do that, but if your body's not operating at the best cellular level, like the best energetic level. So that would mean your microbiome's got to be fed correctly. It doesn't change in 2 seconds, but you've got to start feeding it correctly. And then your mitochondria has to be running really well. So your mitochondria is all these motors in your body that fuels, like think about where does your energy come from? It's your mitochondria that have all these little motors in it. But if your motors aren't running right, it's like your car. Have you ever been in it? You probably don't have the problem these days, but when I was younger and you had a Holden, if it wasn't in tune, it would be like boop, 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 like this. It wasn't running right. And it would sometimes conk out because either the timing was out or the spark plug wasn't working or something. Very basic engines, but that's what it was. Your body is like that. So I eat the same time, the same things every day. I've learned, and I've spent a lot of time doing this, I've learned I've got to do that in rhythm for my body to be the rhythm. That's what energy is. So now I'm thinking, I wouldn't even do it now, but grab a packet of chips, not a hope in hell, because your body has to process it. So anything that's processed, your body works a million times harder to process it. I'll never eat processed food again, like ever. Doesn't matter. I'd rather not eat. So now it's like goat's milk things, now it's pods, now it's Tommy's meal plan. Tommy's meal plan is the best thing I've ever done with the pods. So imagine every meal, every bite that you take throughout the day feeds the motors that run your body. What's that going to do? That's like there's something like 40 quadrillion mitochondria in your body. 40 quadrillion, I think that's the number. They're all got a motor that runs faster than your car. The speed of these things are amazing, like out of control. If they're all running at high performance levels, what's that going to do to your body?
You'll run at a high performance level.
That's exactly right. So if you're focused on what you want, you're sort of enjoying the journey and you're feeding your body, you're going to have 10 out of 10 energy. That's why I'll never as soon as you drink and all this sort of stuff, I know I talk about it a lot, but put alcohol in there. What's alcohol? Pour alcohol over stuff. What does it do? It kills it. It kills it.
Yeah.
So you go have alcohol, even one a day, you're killing the bacteria in your stomach. You're supposed to be feeding the bacteria in your stomach. That's what I've learned about this whole thing. That's why I've been on this journey for so long now.
So what about your gut health update?
That is it.
Yeah. But can you like, do you have tests now that say Like, can you tell the difference
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
My microbiome test, my last one, was the best you can get. So your microbiome's like bacteria
How do
in your
they know
stomach.
that?
You might, because they test it.
it's just
they
a level.
That sends off to a scientific lab and they test your poo. That's what they do. They test it all and test all the bacteria in there. My first one that I ever did was really bad. It was no good at all. They can tell exactly what your body's doing by your poo. Like they can tell exactly what's going on in there. So blood, poo, breath, all that sort of stuff, put it all together, you paint the picture of what's happening in your body. So I went to the doctor recently and got a blood test, and then Tommy sent me back to get another one with more details. So he could sit there for 4 days. He sat there and looked at all my blood results, and then I showed you, and then sent 5 pages of this is what you got to do now. Every supplement to match each part of my blood that's deficient in anything, and then the food to match and the timing of it. That's how deep I'm getting into this stuff now. And a lot of people say, I can't be bothered doing that. Well, that's too hard. Well, that's fine. But you have no energy then.
Can you make that work without maybe the flexibility that you have? So if somebody's only gets a half an hour break or an hour break once a day, and they can't actually eat in that rhythm, is that going to affect it?
You
too
can always
much,
eat in that rhythm because you just take meal prep with you.
Yeah, but are you eating every 2 hours or
No.
2.5 hours?
I eat breakfast,
Yeah.
a shake halfway, but a Tommy shake. So Tommy's got the only license in Australia to make hand blended protein shakes that have nothing bad in it. Zero. You don't even feel like you've drunk any. They satisfy you, but you know those other ones that feel gluggy. So I have that at 10:30. Then I have lunch at around 12:30. But then I have a shake after training, and then I have a smaller dinner.
Okay, but somebody could manage that.
Easy.
Yeah.
You'll do it if you want it. I've said it a million times. You'll do it if you want it. So I'm like, how do I find optimum health? How serious am I about it? So now, is it worth? Yeah, if you got half an hour for your lunch break, make sure you got the food ready. Anyone can drink a shake during the day as they're going along. Just take it with you. Yeah.
This sort of leads on. Can you quickly give us an overview of the supplements you take?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but yeah, I can't remember them all. Like there's vitamin D, vitamin
ones?
B.
Is there any main ones that you're like, these are a must?
Well, I take iron for the gut. Iron you can buy off Zach Bush's website. Iron's this mineral from somewhere, and then vitamin B12, vitamin D3, magnesium. Magnesium is a massive one. If you're deficient in magnesium, you're going to have issues. There's some zinc in there. There's some just usual things, but all the things I'm taking are to match my bloods. It's not. I'm not gone and got all these vitamins from a health food shop because I think I'm going to be healthy.
Yeah,
taking
there's a
them.
purpose.
You don't need to do that. You can only take vitamins based on what you're deficient in. Otherwise, it's useless. You just weed them out.
How to get back on track with frequency if you've fallen off a little? How do you work yourself back?
Yeah, slowly. So if we go with what Esther Hicks talks about, go general. So if something's happened and you're feeling like a bit and a bit unsteady, just take it easy. Like literally taking it easy is the key to getting back on, because the harder you push, the more you're doing that from a place of like need, like about, I'll just push harder. You don't push harder, you actually back off and you'll feel it clicking. You might need to go sleep. You might need to take a day off work. You might need to just cruise at work for a day or two, and then you'll feel yourself get a little better. And then once you're feeling yourself get a little better, then you got to keep your focus on sort of what you want the whole time rather than what you don't. Your mind tends to go to what you don't want or what's not happening right and all of this. If you can keep focused on just a little bit, like, I'm excited about this month, or I'm excited about the next person, or I'm excited about making prospecting calls, whatever it's going to be. But if you can sort of keep your mind focused on that side, because you watch yourself, you just observe yourself, your mind always goes to the negative side a lot of the time. It takes training to go to the other side. And then just relax. Like the key in this whole thing is relaxing.
I can bring in a real life example.
Go.
Remember that time, that day that I said to you, what is happening today? It's just a mess. You said, put your phone on the table. Don't do anything. Don't reply to an email. Don't make a call. Do not talk to anybody. Go home, change, get your golf clubs, and I'll talk to you in a few hours. It's amazing though. Like it's a complete shift of energy, because what you naturally do is you naturally like grab it and try and wrestle it back into place.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can fix this. It's that real tense energy. It's right. Like, so true. And I can tell you my day was very different after I come back hours later
Yeah.
and attended to everything again.
Absolutely. And you got to, that's a good example. That's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
So take the foot off the accelerator, let the car slow down naturally, and you'll feel it like, okay, I got control over it again. You know, when you spin out a bit and you're going fast and you try and correct and it's like, whoa, it makes it worse. Like if you do I remember doing it one on a dirt road once, and I was like, whoa, and the whole car was going like this. And the more I tried to correct, the worse it was getting, until I like flung off the road into the ditch. It's a bit like that. So while that's going so fast, and the momentum that you're experiencing with things that aren't going right, you've built that up from before. So like you're living it. So you've got to let it go. And yeah, it might be just go down and get a milkshake and just go and sit at the beach and hang out for half an hour. Yeah.
Overcoming the fear of failure.
I don't think that ever goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that keeps you running.
Yeah, it's like a good thing.
Yeah. But I think that's a real thing though. And you can the fear of failure is very real. I think everyone has it.
Yeah.
I think even Donald Trump talked about it a while ago. On a video I saw, he said the fear of him failing is the reason that he's so driven. I like that. You can either convert it into let's use it, or it can stop you.
This is an interesting question. It says, for older people, similar age to you, going through a divorce or things like this that have to pretty much start from zero again, how do you do that?
You just do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But you know, let's say 50, right? So 50, I look at it in 10 years. Tony Robbins says you can make your fortune in 10 years, and that's true. So like my last divorce was extremely expensive, extremely difficult, like with readjusting, you know, I had to pull my whole business apart, everything I built. And so it's like, but I made a decision that as long as I took care of Shelley and the kids over there, and then I went this way, and then I just turned the volume up and did the best that I could, that's all you can bring. You don't need too much to actually be okay. Like I think it's more about the whole exercise of doing it. But when you're in it and you're going through it and you're doing the right thing, making sure everyone's okay, sure, you're going to feel tired. Sure, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, this is out of control. But it works out. Like it always works out. Like the problem you had at high school, and it was the world was going to end, whatever that is. Like we've all been there. Does it matter today?
No.
No. And the lessons you learn from that as well. So that could be just the thing that you need to develop the muscle of success that's actually going to make you more successful. I believe I'm more successful because of these challenges I've had.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm at the best version of myself because of these things. So sometimes it's actually like, I'm not saying divorce is the best thing, but sometimes the lessons you learn in those, you can't learn them anywhere else. And if you're really serious about it, it's just a moment in time. Like in 5 years' time, it's going to be like, oh, okay, well, gee, look at me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the time, probably not all the time, but most of the time, 5 years down the track, you see this person and they look better, they feel better, they're happier, they've met a new person. But in that time, they just can't get their head around the whole, or everything, the energy of pulling your life apart and losing somebody that's been in your life for so long. But yeah, in a few years' time, it's just a completely different situation.
Yeah. Like when I...
like look at your life now compared to what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, when I got divorced from Shelley, and then I slept on the lounge in a 2-bedroom unit, Jackson and Paris went to their nans, and Phoenix and Logan come with me. And I know you know it, but I slept on a 2-seater lounge for a year and a half. I couldn't afford much because I kept all my money going to Shelley still. So she was okay. So I could only afford that 2-bedroom unit and a bit of IKEA furniture and things. And then off I went. I slept on the lounge. You just make do, you know. Sort of like being homeless. Like you sort of get to that point and you're like, oh, shivers, and you're there. But the bounce from that is so good. Like once you go, nah, that's it. Let's do this thing. And it's like the bounce is like nothing else. If you bring your best every day, like you're not going to feel great, but it's like, yeah, let's just keep running.
Hot and cold therapy. What's the optimum time when you're doing it with workouts?
Yeah, I do
Or just what? Maybe just
I do
let
my
us know
cold
about
in the
yours.
morning. So I do a 6-minute ice bath in the morning, but the 6-minute ice bath in that ice bath is hard because it moves around. So it's a long 6 minutes. And then at night I'd work out and then come home and do a sauna.
Are you doing the saunas as well?
I haven't started them yet. I'll just keep talking about it, but
Ice baths?
No way.
No, he's just not doing them.
No, I wanna
He
do
should
the ice
He
bath,
should be
but-
because he's not sleeping very well.
How did you get Tara into it?
She stopped now.
Oh, has she?
I think she's going to start again. She's pretty like driven little girl, but she's like, she goes on and off. I think she's enjoying her pizza and chocolates at the moment. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I just let her make. She just sometimes gets in, sometimes doesn't. Yeah.
Someone wrote Chris Smith's weight transformation.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Chris? Looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic. Advice for young people in their 20s trying to set themselves up and develop the best life possible.
Go slow. Just go slowly. You don't need all these flashy things. Go slowly. Be solid. Focus on your income first. Live within your means, and then you don't need all this stuff. Don't get a car loan. Drive a car that you can afford and you own, and then just build a nice cushion under yourself first. I reckon, and then.
Yeah, good advice that you gave to me was live like a student.
Yeah, live
in
like
the beginning.
a student. Yeah.
No matter where you're at. Even
Yeah.
if you're 35 years old and you've changed careers and you want to start a business, it makes it easier.
It does.
Takes all that other stress away so you can focus on the business.
Yeah. If you do that first, I think it's a really strong place. It's a good foundation for yourself. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Someone just said relationships, lol, but not much.
Relationships, they're probably laughing at me. So that's definitely not a topic I'm good at. I'm trying. I'm definitely trying.
There's some really good ones coming up. A holiday's important to you.
No, not at all. I don't like holidays. I just feel like my life is so well structured. But Tara likes to go away, so I think she's going to go to Europe with her mum next year. We're going to Fiji this year. Me, Tara. Tara's like full family. Like she's kids, family things, and I'm like, I like chiming in and out a little bit. So
Can I give you another view?
yeah, go.
Yeah. So you're a very simple person though.
Yeah, I am.
Like I say to you, can you like drive a Ferrari or something? For goodness sake, like it's almost an insult to the people that can't afford a Ferrari that you just drive around a squeaky door Toyota. Like I experiencing new things. I want to know what it's like to eat caviar on a first class flight to the Emirates. Like even if I get out and turn around and come back, like I don't want to go through life and only have known 2260. But I also want to spend the majority of my time here building a career to allow me to do that. So it is for a young person, definitely. Like I would hate to also die and not have experienced anything. I've never traveled, never done anything. Like that's something that I'd be keen to do. So where does that fit into it all? Like I want to look at history and the pyramids and be like, well, that's cool. How did the aliens build that? You've never had that urge at all. Like you've never had an urge to actually feel more than.
Well, don't forget, I went backpacking when I was 20 something, right?
Yeah.
So I went with a girlfriend, and like I went to Greece and here and there, and like I just felt like I was just wandering around.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's heaps better where we live. Like we have so much nice beaches. You get over there's all shells and rocks on the beach, and they're black, and they sit there and they hardly swim in them. I'm like, what's the point of being here? Like I understand what you're saying, like to see it all, but I just like where we're at. I'm just very happy.
Yeah, you are very happy.
Yeah, I'm just very happy. I like just living here. Like I just.
Because probably two things. There's people that are saying they need holidays away from their life. Like I don't feel like I need a holiday away from my life. Like over Christmas, it was important for me to spend time with my family, and got little babies and things that are growing and don't have that time forever. But the whole time I'm keen to get back to work, but I know it's important to do that during that time. Like it is a bit of a balancing thing.
I think sometimes people, and it's not everyone, so this is not a general, but I do think sometimes people put such emphasis on working, then collapsing and going on a holiday. and going to Bali and sitting in Bali, you know, enjoying themselves, then coming home, I find that more exhausting myself. Like I've sort of like, I love the day. Like if I have a really good day, it's structured, and then do that over and over. I could do that forever. Like I just could. Like I have at the moment the ideal life for me. Like I have the ideal life. Like I get up, do my little routine, and then go to work. I love working and doing that, and then I'd train and then come home, and then like last night sat in front of the fireplace with Tara. She watched maths and I was just half watching it. But at the end of the day, like you don't need much else. Like I don't know.
Just
I'm
a bowl
happy
of
doing
cabbage
it.
with,
yeah, just
with
a bowl
pepper.
of cabbage and a Tommy gut health and a few pods.
Dating advice, how to find a partner in today's world?
Be the person that you are. That's the best question that I learned. When you're like, you don't need to go find a partner. You need to become the person that attracts them. That's such the number one thing. If I was single again, I would fully concentrate on just becoming the best version of me. And you watch what happens. Someone will come along at somewhere and be like, boom, they'll be brought into your world. That's how the universe works. You just got to have the intention that one day I'll meet the right person. You can go out and try and meet them and Hinge and all this and have 1,000 just train wrecks and all this sort of stuff. But there's something attractive about someone that doesn't want someone.
It's like create the life that the girl that you're after wants to live in.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I would
Yeah.
do. So if I was your age again, I say it to Jackson often about who he needs to become as a person, you know, and it's like, I would focus on that. And then you watch what comes into your world. Like, it's like there's something really cool about exclusivity. Like, you're not out there just dribbling around girls to try and hunt them down. It's like they're curious about you. Like, you know, who is that guy? Like, yeah, what does he do? Like, yeah,
That's good advice.
yeah.
Managing, separating kids, work, financials. It's just doing it.
Doing it, yeah.
Yep.
How many more are there?
Oh, not heaps. Like maybe like 5 or 6.
All right, let's just go 3 more.
Okay, 3 more. How to design the perfect routine for you personally.
Yeah. Well, you just got to work out what you like first. So, but you got to do it slowly over a long period of time. Different things take your attention in different ways. So when I was building the business, most of your time's got to be the business. Like you rang me last night at 8:30 at night outside somebody's house. You got to do that. So your routine at your age might be vastly different to mine at my age, but it could be just as little as in the mornings, you just have a small routine that you love. And that might be wake up, do 3 rounds of breathing and have a cold shower, a good breakfast you like, then go to work. And then the rest of the days all work. It could be as simple as that. And then if you can just maintain that consistency on doing that and owning that space, at some point in time, you're going to get a little bit more time leverage. Could be a year, could be 2, could be something like that. And then you're going to adjust it a little bit more. So you look at John McGrath's routine, you can't get him after 5:30. He's at 5:30, he's at 5:45, I think it is, he's walking his 2 dogs at the park. That's non-negotiable. In the mornings, he does the same thing. He meets 30 people up there with, he's got dachshunds, Schnitzel and Pickle, and it's a non-negotiable task that he gets so much energy from. So the routine is to give you your energy for the day. That's what it's for. So in the mornings, mine, I've already done mine before you come, but I didn't do cardio. I did red light bed, breathing, ice bath. So that's got to make you, it sets the tone. So you've got to have something that sets the tone of the day. The nighttime one's not as important as the morning one, but the nighttime one is amazing if you can have a wind down one. So that for me is sauna and an ice bath. But that didn't come till a lot later. I never really had a nighttime one. It was more just get work finished and blah, 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 and do whatever. But the morning one,
You used to be calling owners and stuff all night.
yeah, I'd be calling all into the night. So, but the morning one is critical. You have to. So I would look at, if it's someone who's really busy, just bring 2 things in. I think breathing is something that once you get used to it, you don't want to not do it. 3 rounds of breathing, a cold shower if you don't have an ice bath, and a breakfast based on gut health. That's what I would do. And then I get into the day. If you can just do that and live like that for a while, you'll find that that becomes a non-negotiable, and you'll see something along the way where you're like, oh, I'd like to do that, add that as well. So it might, like mine's a red light bed, but it could be like an ice bath for a bit longer, and you're going to can the cold shower then, something like that, you know?
Yeah. 2 more questions. One was how to build a good team, like how to find the right people for your team.
Very difficult. Real difficult. Be prepared to go through a lot of people to get the right people over a long period of time. But you've got to be, I think people have teams wrong. I think people get a team and they think they're going to play golf half the day.
Yeah.
Or just get them to do all this stuff. Not at all. You've got to be the inspiring leader where people want to come and work for you. I get messages all the time for people saying, can I please somehow work with you, your team or whatever else like that? And it's like, that's the person that you need to be over a long period of time. So be prepared. You're going to employ people that don't work out. I don't interview people at all. Like, I just say hello, look at them. I'm like, let's give it a go, because you don't know what they're like till they start working with you. So all these interview processes and I don't run resumes, throw them in the bin. Like, meet them. I get a feel for them. And I say to them up front, let's give it a go. If this doesn't work, I'll tell you or you tell me, and let's just stop it there and then. Okay, that's the deal. Is that all right? And they're like, yep, okay. And if I'm not feeling it, I'll tell them 3 weeks in. You've seen me. I'll walk up to them. I'll say, listen, this isn't working. Thanks very much. Nice seeing you. I'll
see you out.
It's finished, yeah. So, but you got to be really like that. So I think with our team, it's taken me 20-something years to attract you and attract Ash, Trev, and we've been together a long time, all of us, and we love being together. And for us, the money is important, but we can also see the thrust that it brings. Like, it gives us energy. But it's taken so long.
Yeah.
What's your comments around it?
Building a good team?
Yeah.
I heard Donald Trump say something before, and you might disagree, but he said hire from the people that you know, not family, but people.
I'm not going to argue with the Don.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Well, what he said is, you know these people. Yes, you might have to craft them. Like, how many people do we know? Like, we just hire 2 people for the team, and you said to me yesterday, we know them, we like them. They're not family, they're not friends. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I feel like it's a good start.
Yeah.
Like, it's somebody that we already have some sort of connection with.
I do agree.
I think that's probably a good place to start looking, but not family.
Yeah.
Definitely not family.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I reckon on that, well, Jackson and I have had that issue.
You and me had family, and took us a long time.
I sacked Jackson once.
Yeah.
And he didn't like working for me either. Like, it was a 2-way street.
But I feel like I only had that job because I was his son back then. He's like, he just hired me. He's like, you're my son, so let's do this. And then it was like, I just did whatever I wanted and just wouldn't get stuff on time. And I took advantage of that. And then when I went out and went into the real workforce and worked for actual people, I was like, this sucks. I was like, I hate doing all this.
Do you think there's something about father and sons that work though? Like, there's a lot of businesses and there's a lot of successful people that their son has become the successor of the business.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more probably saying like uncles and aunties and cousins and stuff. Like,
what I was going to say there, if you look at the Trump kids, and this is where Jackson and I went wrong. If you look at the Trump kids, they all seem very respectful of the dad.
loyal.
Yeah, they want to be like him.
Yeah.
Jackson and I, at the first part, not that I'm Donald Trump, but it's like, we didn't have that. I'd boss him around, yell at him, this and that, and he'd be like, get worse, like, and it was just all like that. But now, like, we're only talking in the car on the other way down. We actually enjoy working together. He's like, can see, because I think as long as people can see their future as well, and I'm very mindful of him.
You're easy to work with these days.
I'm better.
Heaps better.
So I'm better. So yeah, I don't know. I think, what was the actual question about building a team?
Yeah. How do you build the right team?
I think you've got to be the right leader.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to that first. I think sometimes you can't make people respect you, and you've got to be open enough for, I blast you, but you also tell me when you're like, yeah, I don't think that's right. And you got to be like a bit.
Yeah. There's got to be a level
vibe
of trust and respect.
Yeah.
And everything else shouldn't become a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Or being a mentor, is that important?
Being a mentor?
Yeah, like a mentor. I think he means to like staff and people in the business.
Again, example.
Yeah.
I don't think you need, I don't walk around mentoring people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think people see that, you know, been in it so long, but I'm still in there doing my thing. Like we're in there working hard. I think that's the best thing you can do for people. Yeah. You know, I've said it before, but I feel like I'm ramping up. I'm not ramping down. I'm ramping up. I'm like, where can we go with this thing? Yeah. How do you want to end this today, Jackson?
Thanks for watching.
Well, I think all those questions are really good. Keep them coming in. Thanks for that, Jackson. So, keep them coming in because they do make good content, and nothing's off limits, really. Do you reckon we should get Tara on a podcast again at some point?
Yeah.
She's had a baby. She's, you know, so life changes.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we do that? What do you
Yeah.
think, Jackson?
Is she
think
on
so.
the podcast with the whole family?
No.
Just the Steinway kids.
Well, she'd have to hold Summer.
What's
and
Summer gonna say?
I want the kids. Yeah, I want the kids to all be like, "Meh."
Yeah.
So like just do it. I think if Tara's there, they might be a little more guarded. With,
Yeah,
because she should be looking at them going,
Yeah.
yeah,
Your Christmas list is just halved.
yeah. So we'll see. The kids one's on Sunday, so let's get into that.
Okay.
All right. Have a
All
good week, everyone.